Hey guys, and welcome to another advanced build video.
So we're going to be showing you guys an elevator using Railcraft.
So this is the first advanced build here. Now we built a shell, a basic sort of 3-room kind of shell for this. And now we're going to start building the rails in.
It's pretty massive, but you guys can shrink it. It's just so you guys can see pretty good.
So you have to remember that before you start an elevator, you need three speed rails in front of it.
Yeah, and this is the way you set it up. If you set it up any other way, it will not work. So the gold rails have to go on the bottom first, and then the elevator rails.
Right, so we're just going to pop a button on there and put a redstone torch so that our things are always lit up.
And we're going to do the same thing for this one here, the elevator rails.
Now I am in creative, but again, that's because we sort of messed up our world.
Yep. So you want to put the redstone torch here at the very top so that it grabs the whole thing.
Right, so once you get to the top, you want to turn around and you want to have a stopping point.
Yep. You want to build it like this, so you have enough room there to do the turn.
And if you don't have a space, notice how we have a space in between the shaft and where the button is. But if you don't, you're going to want to do the curve before you do anything else so that you can actually line it up right.
And here there would be our first stop for the first floor, and now we keep going up to the third floor.
So you can get out, and then if you get back in, you can press the button, and you'll start going up again.
And here's just the third floor. We'll repeat the same thing.
So you guys can notice that this building is pretty much a repeat. You can just copy and paste whatever you're doing right on top of another.
Yeah, you guys can shrink it down a lot more. We just did it this big so you guys can see.
If you notice, a lot of the sides and the back are not really necessary. We have a lot of extra room in there.
Yeah, we're just going to build a little platform here so that you'd see how a floor would work if you decided to have a floor in this place.
So this could be the elevator shaft, and then let's just say you had some sort of huge building outside of here. You could have just a certain area for each floor.
If you have a small building, then we recommend using just a magnetizer and metal posts.
But if you have a really large size building, this elevator shaft doesn't seem so big.
So we're going to test it out.
Yep, we're just going to test it out here. So as you can see, it just lifts us up and stops us at each stopping point.
And we could have got enough right there to work on to get to the other floor.
Unfortunately, I forgot to put a redstone torch here, so we can just fix that. Oh man. Alright, so now that I've popped a redstone torch down, we should be able to keep going with what we're doing here. And I had to push it from behind there to make sure that it was going in the right direction.
And here we just stopped, but you could keep this going up for as many floors as you want.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and build us a little way down. I'm going to do one with the elevator and one in just a regular way so you can see the difference. Right, so here we are at the top of the building, and I've made two different ways down. One is just the regular sort of Minecraft-y way of doing it, where you just press buttons as you go. This is a little bit of a touch from this mod, but mostly you can do most of that stuff with regular Minecraft. And that takes up a ton of room. In contrast, if you turn off your elevator rails, they will pull you down instead of pushing you up. Notice how I haven't lit them up.
And as you can see, pretty quick and easy way to get down.
And this takes up much less room.
Or you could also have a water hole underneath and you can just jump to it.
Yep, so if you just put 2 blocks of water underneath, it'd be an even easier way of getting down. And you could be able to have an opening on each floor, and that way you could use the same water.
Right, so here we have a reeds farm and a cactus version of it.
So when the cactus grows, it breaks itself on the blocks above it.
But this only works when the cactus works by itself, so it's fully automatic. If you wanted to control it yourself, then you'd replace those blocks by pistons, and then you'd just extend them. And here we have a reeds version.
So how this works is we have 650 seconds here. 640, I believe, is the recommended amount for 2 sort of layers of reeds. And after that amount, it should trigger the pistons to knock the reeds over.
Yeah. After that time, the reeds should fully grow.
So the average time, I believe, is 190 or something like that. And then it ends up being this when you add up all the different layers of it and everything.
And the pistons will just shoot up and destroy the sugarcane, which will come down the water and into the obsidian pipe. Pretty simple setup.
So now what I'm going to do is just going to lower it a bit. And actually I might just make some redstone torches so that I can show you how this thing works. So if you notice, when I activate the redstone, everything gets knocked over by the pistons, and then it goes into the obsidian pipe here at the bottom. Make sure that water is flowing, or else everything will just sort of sit in the bottom.
You could also replace the timer by a lever and do it manually whenever it's grown, but this one's fully automatic.
Also, if you wanted to do the exact same thing we're doing here with the cactuses, you could just move the pistons to the right and to the left one, and they just invade the space of the cactus instead of actually hitting it. And there you go, that's a perfect reed farm. Now, it does drop some things on the ground, but generally if you leave it for a while, you'll have so many reeds, it won't really matter.
So now let's move on to the next build.
So this one is, here's our little panoramic view of a beautiful area here.
Yep, that might get destroyed.
Well, the plan is to destroy it, but we might not be successful.
And here we just have a TNT cart machine gun.
Now, if you'll notice, we have two setups for this. One of them is a lever, and one of them is a redstone timer. And we'll see that in a sec.
Yeah, but basically we just have a chest filled with TNT carts, an item loader, which will load these carts into a cart. And we want to have the amount of 3 here because on this dispensers can only hold 3 carts.
And because 3 times 5 is 15, you want our item loader for the carts, for the actual TNT carts, to add up to 15.
Yep. So we'll grab 15 every time and put 3 in each one every time.
Right, so what we're going to do is hook up a lever, and we'll see how this thing works.
So now it's going to quickly go and fill them all up. Now it filled all the dispensers, but then it fills the inventory of the unloaders themselves.
So the unloaders also hold 3.
Yep. And then now it's fully done because it can't load anymore since they're filled. Now what you want to have, instead of that long red alloy wire, you want to have at the very tip, you would want to have redstone torches, so that the launcher and primer rails get redstone all the time.
So what we did here was a bit of a fail.
Yeah.
So if you use the lever, it works perfectly fine. We'll show you that here.
You just have to leave it on for a second.
So if you click it and then just don't leave it, the TNT carts will all sort of be left at the end.
Yeah, that's why you would want to have those redstone torches at the end.
Because that way then the redstone doesn't affect the actual priming rails and launching rails. So that's the first part of this failure.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it's completely my fault.
Right, so the second part of this is that one actually works if you leave the lever on. And as you can see, it's very highly explosive. But as I was instructed by my friend here to hook up the redstone, yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, since the primer got lit up, but the launcher didn't get lit up, they just blew up right there.
So, as you can see, it's not good to use timers with this if you don't have the proper lit up redstone torch end.
Yeah, if the rails had been two blocks shorter, then it would have worked because the redstone would have lasted long enough.
Unfortunately, it didn't work and it blew up our entire system and wasted a little bit of your time.
Yep.
So that's the build. If you want to tell your friends to build this, it'll damage them as well, or you can use it on your enemies.
Yep. So that's it for this video, guys.
Thanks very much. Comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
And feel free to fix this one.